Okay, here we go with part two. Aloha, the King's Sisters. Hawaiian modern island favorites, freshly styled with bright new ideas by one of the mainland's most popular vocal groups. Include such songs as My Little Grass Shack and Kele Kakuna Hawaii, Sweet Leilani, Hawaiian Wedding Song, Hawaiian War Chant, On the Beach at Waikiki. Next is another classical album. This one is, I'm going to take it out of the sleeve because I'm getting a glare. This one is Mozart Concerto for Clarinet and Orchestra in A, and also the Clarinet Quintet in A. Surprise is Betty Goodman is the clarinetist on this. And this record was issued in 1957. Next is a two-record set called The Dixieland Story by Matty Matlock and the Paducah Patrol. It's on Warner Brothers Records. This album it came out in probably about 1959, 1960. And I really like the Dixieland records that were being produced in that time. Seems there was a renaissance in this country in the early 60s of an interest in music from the 1920s and early 30s. Next is George Shearing's Satin Affair. The George Shearing Quintet in a luxurious string setting creates a modern mood of romance. Arranged and conducted by Billy May. Includes such songs as Early Autumn, Stardust, Baubles, Bangles, and Beads, and The Party's Over. Next is another couple that I like, Louis Prima and Keely Smith. And one of the songs on here I really like is called I Don't Know Why, which is the old song, I Don't Know Why I Love You Like I Do. And what they do is they sing the song backwards. They start at the end of a sentence and go all the way back to the beginning, and it's kind of a unique and different way of presenting a song. Next is Harry Belafonte at Carnegie Hall, and I have been trying to find a stereo version of this and one that is in good condition for many years. Next is an album called The Many Voices of Patti Page, and it's kind of a compilation album. This one includes such songs as How Much Is That Doggy in the Window, I Can't Tell a Waltz from a Tango, Changing Partners, Keep Me in Mind, Milwaukee Polka. It's basically a collection of all of her multi-voice recordings that she did and was kind of the rage in the early 50s. Next is another live show, including this one came even with a booklet, An Evening with Nancy Wilson. This was recorded live at the Ambassador Room at the Coconut Grove. And there's what the front of the album looks like. Again, Nancy's booklet fell out. So we'll just kind of put that away. Another kind of interesting front cover, Bob Crosby and the Bobcats. On Coral. This one dates from, I would say probably the early 50s from the looks of it. The back of it doesn't have any liner notes, just gives a listing of other albums that were available on Coral. Next is another Matty Matlock Paducah Patrol record called Four Button Dixie. This one was released in 1959. And I guess I'm kind of a collector of these early Warner Brothers stereo recordings. They did an excellent job of excellent separation between the channels, and I just love collecting these. Next is a rather common one, Simon and Garfunkel's Greatest Hits. Next is the voice and guitar of Jose Feliciano. This one is a very early album of his and has such songs as High Heel Sneakers, I Got a Woman, Walk Right In, Since I Met You Baby, Flight of the Bumblebee played on guitar, dates from 1965. This one is a favorite of mine. It was also a favorite of my mother's. We had the 45 of Calcutta, and a friend of mine reminded me the other day, he happened to live across the street from us, and we've been friends for the last, 41 years. He said, you had 3 copies of this on 45 and wore all of them out. so I'm glad I found a copy of the LP. This one I probably won't end up wearing out. Next is another classical record, Khachaturian's Concerto for Piano and Orchestra, played by Felix Slacken and the Concert Arts Orchestra. It's another one of the Capitol FDS series of LPs. Another greatest hits one. I've been looking for this for a while, of Elton John. I never did have very many of his 45s, and have been looking for a greatest hits album all these years, and finally found one in decent condition. Next, an early Dynagroove on Bolero with the Boston Symphony and Charles Munch. This one is very early Dynagroove, dates from 1963. Another best of album I've been looking for by Peter, Paul, and Mary. This album I had on reel-to-reel tape many years ago, and I still have the reel-to-reel tape, but the player I don't have. So I went ahead and bought the LP, and it was kind of a combination of rock and jazz. Another album by George Shearing, Night Mist. The George Shearing Quintet with Voices includes such songs as Polka Dots and Moonbeams, A Handful of Stars, in other words, Fly Me, previously titled Fly Me to the Moon, Long Ago and Far Away, Imagination, and Yours Sincerely. And then we'll wrap up this segment with a box set. I don't normally buy these because they're fake stereo, and it's a Reader's Digest set. It's the original recordings from the early 30s, and a lot of these I don't have on 78. They produced these from many different labels for the set. They pulled from RCA, Decca, Brunswick, and Columbia. And a lot of these would have been on the Victor Scroll and possibly even a very early Bluebird. So I was lucky to find this set. Anyway, we'll break here and go to part 3.